So, what did I think of Stellaris? Major freak. Well, to put it simply, I wouldn't recommend it. Mainly because unless you scratch the surface, you're going to like this game. And that's a problem because with Steam, you have only 2 hours to figure out if the game's going to be worth it. And the replayability of this game is effectively, unless you scratch the surface, pretty good. But once you start, well, if you open that bag, there's a bunch of hammers, and you're like, wait, I'm holding a bag of hammers? Yeah, it's really that dumb. It's like an early access game that went to release and then they just shove DLCs at you that make the game worse because the devs have this literal god complex, and they just dabble with no idea about their game immersion value. The immersion and replayability of this game is pretty good. It's because if you don't actually get to the end of the game, and if you don't actually have the power to deal with the things at the end of the game, and you don't really explore much because you're hemmed in, and you don't really get to stretch your muscles because there's nearby for any reason. It's a fun game. I really enjoyed it. But the problem is once you're actually up to snuff, you realize that it's a freaking bag of hammers. There are so many really crappy bits about this game, and I'll list them for you really quickly. Instead of just, yapping my face off, I'll show you. So, Chapter 19, I wrote a list of... I had a lot of chapters in this last campaign. And the list is here. Now, there are a couple of workarounds, and I'll point them out, but I've got about a dozen things wrong. The 12th thing was that the end game crisis for me, when it happened, was the awakened fallen empires. And at first, I was unprepared when I attacked them, thinking I could take them out easy, but my fleets were not concentrated, and I didn't concentrate well, and I got slaughtered. And I was like, great, I'll regroup and we'll have a rematch. But what happened was the devs make the Fallen Empire split its fleet up into penny packets, and then it's just like whack-a-mole. And it's like, what the... I wanted a massive fleet battle. That was so much fun if I could just... And it was like, what? And you don't get that. So that was pretty much the last red flag that I needed to convince myself that they went into release thinking, and I can read their freaking minds, it's so easy, thinking they're going to make this a roguelike game. And they made it as difficult and frustrating as possible, thinking that's roguelite. And that's not roguelite. That's a bunch of a-holes making a really shitty game, and just toying with their player base. And it's obvious because there are many things that aren't coded that should have been, that are not immersive, that don't give you situational awareness. Like, for instance, the focus options. When there's an event and you try to focus on that event, like, this big annoying pop-up in the middle of your screen, and you try to click on it somehow to get where, okay, what part of the galaxy are we talking about? They don't make that easy. And in fact, most of that stuff zooms you right into the solar system instead of taking you you know, focusing on the galaxy map where you're usually at and going, okay, focused. And then if you click again on that, it'll go, oh, okay, you get close, you're focused. Let's go in and look at that particular solar system and then the spot in particular. No, it's just, and it's so random, like half it focuses on the galaxy map and half of it takes you, but all the really annoying immersion breaking pop-ups don't have an easy way of going, okay, where in the heck is the universe is this happening? And you don't get the situational awareness. You don't get the, oh, that scientist is doing that, okay, I sent him over there and he's dealing with, okay. No, it takes it just, and it grabs you into the soul, and you're busy, so you're like, screw that, so you go away and just, yeah. So I found that really frustrating. The other one is there are consumer goods in the market, and you're trying to sell stuff. It scales up what you want to sell, and if you've got more than 10K, it'll give you an option for 10K, except consumer goods. And that was so frustrating for me. Just like, why do I have to think about this? Why can't you just scale that as well? I mean, you scale great enough for minerals and food. Why don't you just, it's like I'm at max. Let me sell a fixed amount of each so I know, okay, well, right, this and that happens. But just don't play idiotic games thinking you know what's best. And that's the feeling you get in this bag of hammers, that this idiotic dev team thinks they know best, and they have no immersion into this game, because if they did, they go, wow, this stuff is really annoying, we should get rid of this, or like do something about that, you know. Like the market, same thing. You're in the market and you want to get to the next resource. Your first instinct, and I throughout for the entire campaign, and what I knew was the problem, that I knew I couldn't do that, I would still instinctively want to click the very top bar to switch resources so I can sell that resource too. No, it just closes the market, and it's like, oh my god, and I did that the entire time. It was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's just so painfully obvious that they just don't play their game at all, you know. And if they do, it's like, oh, this must be fun for the players, and it's like, no, it's not. It's taking away from the game. So and it's just yeah, it's pretty funny. When you're first starting up a colony and you make a bunch of stuff and you make one too many things, and you want, okay, well, I need my guys not to have enough amenities, or else they're going to have, the stability will lower. But there's no designation for amenities. There's no entertainment designation for the planet. and not only that, if you click that, it won't prioritize the population to go there. Yeah, and it's just, and a subset of this, there's a setting that you can click that'll change the way you prioritize your population into certain jobs, and it's like, why did you even bother doing that? And it's like, it must be a holdover of an old system that they improved. Yeah, totally screwed with the mod environment, mod community. Yeah, and the species preference. When you discover this, it'll just blow your mind. Okay, you choose the race, the species, whatever, that you're going to populate the planet with on the colony ship when you build it. And then when the colony ship gets there, it forgets all about it and says, hey, anybody can populate the planet. But you're like, what are you doing? I just what? It's like, why did you not think this through? And not only that, random populations will crop up on your planet regardless of whether you actually get those species preference populating the planet, because it's probably because of unemployment, displacement and stuff like that. That's okay, I can deal with that. But it's like, my god, why can't, and not only that, no, not only that, like skipping number 8, when I'm clicking the next planet in the row, or clicking next planet, whatever, why do you close that panel? I want that panel open. If I'm clicking the next planet, it's usually because I want to deal with that same issue. Why are you closing it on me? And there's so many panels that could stay open that way just to help you out. And it's just what am I playing, in an MMO? Why you? It's like, oh, we just want to make this game difficult because, you know, the more time you spend, it's like you might enjoy the game, and it's like, shut up, you idiotic, spastic twit. It's like they have no idea about the game. Yeah, and you open up so you've got the ship designer, and you haven't paused the game, and you're just trying to on the fly change the ship because, you know, while it's time away, you've got some time. And the glitchy audio when something happens, it's just ridiculous. It's like, why is it only happening when I have the chip designer open? Why is it that sounds so disgusting? Why is there a memory leak? It's just bizarre. Anyways, and the and the hyperlane, the most idiotic thing about this is, okay, the hyperlane breach point physics gives hyperlanes, and you think, oh great, it gives +1 collection range, but you read that as not only +1 collection range, but +1 hyperlane range for speeding up. I think it's actually just the system, and I didn't know that it took me the entire campaign to realize, wait, and I had to read up on it on the wikis and stuff like that, and the forums. It's like, wait, this isn't helping hyperlane expansion, it's just hyperlane in that system. So I'd need, to make it quick, I'd need a hyperlane in every system along that route. And it's just what? And my brain could not grasp that campaign. I just avoided thinking about it. It's like, oh god. But yeah, I mean, they switched it to it's just, I think they switched it back. They have it in the description for interstellar economics. That'll give you hyperlanes, but the hyperlanes actually appear when you tech up hyperlane bridge points, which gives you transit hub, I think, and that's when you get hyperlanes, the hyperlane register. And it's just, and the dev's explanation is just mind-blowing. So it's like, I don't think they even know they screwed up with that. But it's like, why did you do that? Interstellar economics takes so long to get to, you know. But hyperlane breaches, maybe it's just RNG with the tech, but I'm pretty sure hyperlane breach points you can get way earlier than the tier of interstellar economics. It's just like, what? And it's great for trade routes. That's great. What the hell is with hyperlanes? So it just blows my mind how silly their system is. It's like, wait, collecting range is +1, but you can't extend the hyperlane speed by +1? What? How does that even make sense? Why did you have the two combined then? It just confuses the hell out of you, right? So this is just one example of the utter confusion you get when dealing with this stuff. It's just bizarre. Yeah, and why is the ship, like, what the hell is with, so you've got your officers, right? You get your leadership panel, and you hire a bunch of them because you got a bunch of credits, and you want a particular ones, and you want to fire a whole bunch of them, and you can't move that panel over the pop-up for yes, no, get rid of them. There's a workaround because you can actually hit enter, and it'll choose yes, you want to fire that person. So that's a workaround, but still, it's like, what the hell? And other things like, why can't we move some windows but not others? It's like, that would be really helpful. And what the hell are you doing? Why are you making it so difficult? Because the panel for going to the next thing is over there, and I'd like to choose it sometimes instead of the the next button on the planet. Why can't I move the planet thing over? It's like, I think I can. That's one of the things it's just so mad. Why can't I move? Why can I move the planet window when I can't move other? It's just, what the hell? And could you please give us an option for a setting so we can move those annoying immersion breaking pop-ups right in front of the middle of the screen to elsewhere? I mean, for Christ's sake, we're watching the galaxy map most of the time. Why are you blocking the galaxy map? It just does not make sense. It's just, yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and when you're setting your population on the planet's species for preferred, who's going to populate it, unless you've got something on the planet, a pop of that, you won't be able to set it. So if you're on a savanna planet and you've got the savanna species all tailored for it, and you populate it before you've got that species set out with the colony ship, and you land that, or you take over a planet and you purge the population, or you just want to, if you don't have that savanna population on the planet, you can't select it in the right. It's like, what the hell? Can't you just select all, or maybe even the most, why don't you just list it? It's just listed for freaking what the hell? And it's just it's just a bag of hammers. I mean, I'm just talking about the first dozen hammers in the bag, but there's way more, and it's like, the hell are you people thinking? And if, like, there are certain things, like, in a solar system, like, check this out. Here's one of the things they could have done, but they haven't. And it's just brainless. Their hyperlane breach point, the hyperlane register, right? That's something you would really like to have in every system that you're using. Why can't you attach it like a defense? I hated them too. By the way, I didn't use defense things because if they're destroyed, you have to build them again, and they cost a lot. So it's like, if you have systems get overrun, and then you have to take them back, you have to build all your defense things again. But the cool thing is, in systems where you don't have an upgraded spaceport, you can still build the defense things, which I think is really cool. Except when I figured that out this campaign, I was like, wait, why can't I build something like a hyperlane register to speed up my folks? Because that'd be really great. Because I was thinking I got a +1 radius, but now I realize I've only got this in system. If I could do the hyperlanes in every system, like a defense thing on the upgraded starport, that'd be great. But yeah, I don't think the code, I mean, everything I've talked about so far is, like, they've done it. Like, you can see the possibilities of them doing what I've talked about in the past because they've already got it for other things. So it's like, why the hell can't you just use that same mechanic to transfer that onto the other stuff you haven't? And it's, that kind of thing. But what I'm talking about is it seems to be not okay. You can do that for this, but I think the interface for the it's different. It's not like, can you keep the damn window open, or can you just let us move windows around like you can other things, that kind of thing. No, this is something a little bit different, and I think that would be a little bit too difficult to do, but I think it would be their best interest to get it the hell done. Just because it confuses the hell out of people. It's like, Why do you have two things combined? It just confuses people. And I think they don't care. They don't go, this is really confusing for people. Let's not do that. You know? No, it's not, because they get their ass kissed by PvPers who want to take advantage of this. And that's it. That's all I care about. They won't get any bitching at me about these ass kissers, because they're interested in taking advantage, and the more confusing and mind-boggling the system is, the better for these people. So yeah, it's just mind-boggling. The devs the world over do this. It's just the way they operate. It's, to them, their community is a whack-a-mole to them, and they dabble, and they don't have the ability to immerse themselves in the game and go, oh damn, we really need to deal with this, you know, because they just don't. They're busy. It's a long time ago somebody said, Biting the Hand of Feeds blog a long time ago said it was a community specialist company that would come in and deal with the community, like the forums and stuff, and PR basically. And these guys said, and it was of course in their best interest to see it this way, but they said, look, I mean, your mindset, devs, is that it's a social engineering experiment for them, for the devs, and that is the worst way to go about dealing with your player base. And it's just so, it's just built into the development, how you go about developing a game. It just breeds this environment, and you, if you have this one-sided view, and just get obsessed with this, and identify it with, and don't remember, oh wait, there's another side of life. That, oh, these aren't little experiments, they're actually people, and they forget that. If you get carried away, you can go that way. So yeah, I would not recommend the game, because as soon as you open that bag, it's a bunch of hammers, and you're like, oh. And the devs have done this because of Steam. And sure, the game's on sale all the time because their game sucks. And people pick it up and go, oh, this is kind of cool. And then they buy a couple of, like, I've bought a couple of DLCs, but then I was like, wait, these DLCs aren't, and I didn't, oh my god, I hated the habitat. And the fact is, I had so many, I had 22 active mods by the time the end of the 6th campaign. I'm like, okay, that's a number that's not quite up to par with what I ended up with playing with XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is fun, but like scratching the surface, it's like, what the hell? I realized after I stopped playing that game, because I realized something and then stopped playing a game. I was like, right, I remember playing this a year ago, and this is why I quit playing it, because it's like I realized the only reason I had all these mods was to make the game exciting for me, because if you take away these mods, the game's shit. It really is. And you're like, wow. I mean, I loved Long War for XCOM 1. Oh, that was just, and I mean, within Long War, oh, it was just, those modders just made that game just awesome. And and XCOM 2 kind of tried to go that way. Failed horribly, but went that way. It's a fun game, scratch on the surface, bag of hammers, you're like, oh crap. But you realize the bag of hammers, the like 22 mods just to play the game without tearing your hair out, that's quite a bit. Like, what the end game does is spam Stargates, those big mega structures, but they spam them, and it's like, and you get pop-ups about it all the time, and you can't it doesn't focus on where it just takes. Yeah, there's no. It's just what the hell. And it's just spam, 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 and it's like, wait, and then you find out the Fallen Empires can use those, even when you're controlling them. Yeah, and it was like, what? So it's like the F. So yeah, I saw that mod and I'm like, because I check out the people's galleries when they make a mod and like it. I check out the galleries, see what other mods they had, and I was like, oh, really? Is that what I'm facing? And I'm like, I better install it before it happens. And it's just like, what the? So many things. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, once you get up to 22 mods, you're like, yeah, no. And you realize that the DLCs will suck, because if it's a bag of hammers. They're just pumping these, because if they're gonna buy the base game, and then the sale's gonna end, and then they'll think of getting the DLCs, and that's where we get our money. And I read one of the recent dev Q&As, Ask Me Anything or something like that, and they chose answers to 40% of the questions they chose to answer, and the answers and the questions they chose to answer was like, why are you even entertaining the multiplayer screaming? I mean, the fact that you said, oh, okay, well, we're not dealing with it right now, but you were replying to it. It's like, that says something between the lines, period. Even if you're never going to deal with the multiplayers, the fact that you're spending time on these empty, brainless questions, it's like, what? And you can see when they answered other things, it was like scripted. They would say, and it was revealing too, and it was scary revealing, because the words they would use were all like polite and stuff, but it was like, it boiled down to, if it's not a DLC that's getting his money, or if it's not a DLC that we can turn around the bad negative reviews on, we're not interested. And you're like, oh, well, thanks for letting me know that, you dumbass. But it's like, these people are just doing damage control, and it's like, why aren't you just focusing on the stuff that really annoys people? Like, why don't you play your own game and go, wow, that's really, why can't we do that? And why can't we make the game better so we get better reviews and people feel more confident in getting our DLCs, because they know the base game is not a bag of hammers? And it's not hard. Like, I'm looking at the stuff, and it's like, if they just fix like a dozen things in their effing game that's obvious, it would be a much better game, and I would enjoy it, and I'd recommend it, because it would have high playability, and the reviews would go up, they get better sales, yay. But instead, they are stuck to this obsession with milking DLCs, and it's like so painfully obvious that their bottom line is run by their sales department, and the sales department isn't interested in playing the game. So you know who's freaking, yeah, but yeah, devs the world over, you know. Anyways, so yeah, I would not recommend the game. I've listed out everything I can think of. But yeah, bag of hammers. It's pity, you know. I mean, until the 6th campaign, I had high hopes for this game. It's like, if I could just get that mod or this mod, just a few, like half a dozen, I'll be fine, and then I'll have fun with the end game. It looked great. I did capture my attention for a long time, because it was fun, but I was like, wait, why do I have to keep doing this? And it was like, there's no way to set like automatic. It's like, I know if I set automatic, their automatic building AI thing, I know it's not going to be what I want. And it's like, what would I build? I would build administration offices. Then I build a civilian industries, because you only can build one per colony, and those are a quick fire way of getting yourself uh, consumer goods right away. And then I would build another building, the Holo Theaters, and yeah, those three. I realized later that the cloning facility also produces amenities. So I was like, so I started to dabble in that as well. But yeah, those four. If I could just have like if they could automate a script, it's like, hey, if you want an automated script to build this, this, and this on your new planets, just click this button. But yeah, it was either you go agri or you this and that, and it was like, I don't want that. I want amenities quick as a wink, and housing too. I would, because you need housing to build more buildings and the city district. So it's like a set, just to deal with the game's mechanics. And it's like, why can't the population do it themselves? It's like, why am I doing all this stuff? If I could just avoid this, I wouldn't have to pause the game so much. And if I'm going to play with my nephew, like, this is the reason I'm not going to play this game. It's like, when I play with my nephew, you can't pause as much, and I was pausing this game constantly. And if you're not pausing the game, you're going to fall behind. And it was just, yeah, it was just a bunch of make work. And I regret spending so much time on the game, It's like, I don't want to play this I do not want to play it again, because I know I'll have to deal with the constant stuff that I can't automate. And it's like, and the frustration, the total frustration of dealing with the constant mouse movements back and forth across the screen. It's like, ugh. So yeah, it's like, do not waste your time on this game. It doesn't even have a lot of potential. They have squandered its potential, and it's all into money, 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 DLC, grab, grab, grab. And it's like, what the, I don't even, like the habitats was just, as soon as I realized when I saw the habitat, when I built one, I was like, you have to be kidding me. And I was like, wait, the AI is going to spam this like bananas. And I'm like, oh God. And I tried not to have Utopia enabled, but there are certain critical ascension perks in traditions that give you like a choices between cybernetics or psychic or genetic modification, right? And so that was critical for me. It was just, oh God, I built a Colossus just to blow up all the freaking habitats I could find. And that's what I ended up doing, using the Colossus to just annihilate any planet smaller than 15. 15 or smaller. I would just nuke it, get it out of the game. I just did not want to deal with the mass amount of issues when I absorbed all the colonies I just captured. Oh, and the last thing I'll talk about, and this was the nail in the coffin for me. I don't know why I didn't bring it up first. You're glad I blathered on for a while till I remembered. Influence. The Chinese torture of influence will kill your enjoyment of this game, if nothing else. And they just, it's just, they don't scale it at all. It's not scaled at all. So you get a huge empire. You're starting to really, okay, I can really, I can absorb large amounts of territory. Let's get on it. And you're just waiting literally hours, and you could fast. I kept the game speed at normal the entire campaign, just because I did not want to miss anything. I'm sure if I enjoyed the game, I would speed up the game, and maybe that would make the game more enjoyable if I kept it at fastest speed, just to keep the influence coming in at a proper pace. And if you didn't pause the game a lot and you played with players, maybe it would be less of an issue. So that's a caveat for that. But for me personally, that was just the nail in. If it was like, what the hell? It's like I literally could not go on a war without beforehand getting the claims set up. And then, okay, after the war starts, probably I'll get a few more systems while I'm in the war. Might as well spend the influence point. But at the same time, you realize that the perk for adding 2 new districts costs you 100 influence, and there's, like, if you want influence of without the shadow government, I think civic, that'll lower the cost of choosing who's going to get voted in. It was just it was just such an annoyance. It didn't have to be. And I got certain mods to alleviate that, and it was cool. The mods weren't overbearing. Like, you couldn't buy influence off the market, but they made it so it just doubled your influence intake, which made it okay. But it was like, why do I need mods for this? It was like, just so, what the hell? So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pity, because I invested so much. But you know, I've spent more than 12 years playing EVE Online, and the second there's a better game out there, or a comparative game that offers the same ability to exploit the resources of the universe, like solar system, you know, asteroid mining and stuff, I'm gone. Like, if I can enjoy Elite Dangerous, I'm gone. Even after 12 years, it's like, why the hell am I playing this game? And it's just like, you know, the Truman Show or EdTV. It's like, click, change channel, and you just move on. And, you know, it's like, I have no loyalty to a game that I've invested so much, because it's like, you know, it's like the gambler's fallacy, you know? It's like, it's gonna get better because you invested so much time. No, it's not. You know? It's like drinking your life away, okay? Well, maybe you don't have any regrets, but, you know, if you find something better in life to do, just move on. Yeah. You stop partying at some point in your life, right? So, yeah. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, it's a pity. It held so much promise, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself, why is it on sale all the time? Now you know.